of 2025, could the Cabinet Secretary, number one, explain the steps taken by the ministry to investigate allegations of child sex trafficking in Mahiu, Nakuru County, in light of the media expose released on 4th of August 2025, and clarify whether any arrests have been made? Sorry, Mr. Speaker, my machine is misbehaving. This machine. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I got it.
You can read from the hard copy being handed to you.
Thank you, and thank you to the member of Molo, who is my neighbor and my friend, for assisting. Let me take it again, Mr. Speaker. Could the Cabinet Secretary, number one, explain the steps taken by the ministry to investigate allegations of child sex trafficking in Mahiu, Nakuru County, in light of the media expose released on 4th of August 2025, and clarify whether any arrests have been made of the individuals implicated in the trafficking? Number two, provide a report detailing the number of children being trafficked and explain why security agencies, including the Inspector General of Police, have failed to take immediate action on the matter. And finally, Mr. Speaker, state the measures in place to rescue and rehabilitate the affected children back to society, including steps taken to ensure their safety and psychosocial support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister. Minister.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to respond as follows. Regarding the steps being taken by the ministry to investigate allegations of child sex trafficking in Mahiu, Nakuru County. Mr. Speaker, following allegations of trafficking in persons involving children for purpose of sexual exploitation in Mahiu town, Nakuru County, through a viral BBC, just, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if it is with your indulgence. Anyway, I'll raise that later, now that you have consultation. Mr. Speaker, following the allegations of trafficking in persons involving children for purpose of sexual exploitation in Mahiu town, Nakuru County, through a viral BBC documentary, officers from anti-human trafficking and child protection units were deployed. On 6th August 2025, 4 witnesses were interviewed and their statements recorded. Neema, Selina, and Mary Nyambura Njeri, who had both been interviewed in the BBC documentary, posing as victims of child sexual exploitation, as well as Millicent Muturi Wairimu, the chairlady of commercial sex workers in Mahiu Township, and Jane Wamuyu Kungu, caretaker of Tamasha Lodgings. The 4 stated that they had been approached by the BBC investigative journalists, who requested them to identify vulnerable girls aged between 17 and 21 years for a purported foreign sponsorship program. On 7th August 2025, the team summoned Lucy Njoroge, alias Baby Girl, a former commercial sex worker who now works with NGO called K-Note as a volunteer peer educator based on Karagita Health Center. Lucy had, in the BBC documentary, Lucy had featured in the BBC documentary based at Karagita Health Center. Sorry, again, I'll take that again, Mr. Speaker. Lucy had featured in the BBC documentary claiming to rescue and assist street girls and sex workers. She stated that she lives with 4 young women whom she rescued from the streets of Naivasha. Michelle Wanjiku, who is 20, Lilian Wairumu, 19, Elizabeth Nyambura, 24, and Mine Njeri, who is 22. All 4 were interviewed, their statements recorded, and copies of their identification documents were obtained. The investigators proceeded to Karagita Health Center, where K-Note operates an office used to store contraceptives and maintain related records. Lucy was confirmed to be a liaison officer between K-Note and the health facility. On 8th of August 2025, the team interviewed John Kamau Kinuthia, the Naivasha Sub-County Gender-Based Networking Cluster Coordinator, who collaborates with several organizations, including Life Broom International, K-Note, Disability Resource Information Center. Naivasha Partners for Change, Young Men in Championing Ending Gender-Based Violence, and YMCA. He confirmed having introduced Lucy to the BBC officials. To date, 14 witnesses have been interviewed and their statements recorded with relevant documents obtained. All locations featured in the BBC documentary have been identified, visited, and documented by the crime scene investigation team. The BBC crew members have been identified as Njeri Mwangi, Stephen Ruiyi, Anthony, Zipporah Ndinda, Kagunda, Beth Wamboi Waidera, Anastasia, and Nick Milne, a foreign national. According to the witnesses, BBC representative promised substantial payments and lifestyle benefits to those who were involved. Investigations have further revealed that the documentary footage was recorded in Mahiu and Karagita. Witnesses were linked to one another in various capacities within the sex work community. Millicent Wairimu, the chairlady of commercial sex workers, confirmed that she had been approached by the individual known as Snorina, with whom she had previously worked at North Star, and thereafter introduced her fellow sex workers, Judith Wanjiru Njoroke, alias Chepto, and Caroline Kinyanjui, alias Nyambura, and Jane Wamuyu Kungu to the BBC team. Jane Wamuyu, upon learning of the arrangement, involved her daughter-in-law, Neema Selina, while Millicent also sourced 3 other girls, Faith Weta, Mary Njoki, and Faith Njeri. The Weta is, I'm sure. The Speaker.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with the Speaker.
Yeah, we are yet to confirm, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
yes, TJ. Yes, TJ. Give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, sir, is the minister in order to suggest that the Honorable Speaker, aka Papa Waroma, could be or is inferred to be a suspect? And is there active investigation going on in this matter, and how far the investigation has reached, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Mr. Speaker, whereas the Speaker, as the Speaker of this House, is not involved, we cannot confirm whether Faith Weta is related to the Speaker in any way. And it doesn't mean that there is any impropriety on his part. I'm just saying that this is a name. It could be from the same clan, neighborhood. It could have also, somebody could have named his daughter after the Speaker. But
there are very many people who have named their children after the Speaker.
After the Speaker, yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Out of admiration.
It is very important, Mr. Speaker, to clarify that it is only out of admiration. Now, Mr. Speaker, that is, let me take that again. So, Jane Wamuyu, upon learning of the arrangement, this arrangement involved, financial exchange and so forth. Jane Wamuyu, upon learning of the arrangement, involved her daughter-in-law, Neema Selina, while Millicent also sourced 3 other girls, Faith Weta, Mary Njoki, and Faith Njeri, who is yet to be traced. Faith Njeri is yet to be traced. Lucy introduced 4 girls to BBC team. Alice Jambura Nyawira, alias Naserian, stroke Elizabeth Nyambura, Mine Njeri, Lillian Wairimu, and Michelle Wanjiro. The investigation has established that the BBC team primarily sought underage girls involved in sex work. However, some of the girls allegedly falsified their age to qualify for the promised sponsorship. 2 women identified in the documentary as Cherop and Nyambura were confirmed to be Judith Nyambura Njoroge, a sex worker in Mahiu for 2 months, and Caroline Kinyanjui, who had operated there for 2 years. 2 women portrayed in the documentary as child traffickers, identified as Judy and Karo were reportedly promised significant sums of money and have since relocated to unknown locations. No arrests have been made so far, but investigations are ongoing, including obtaining financial records and call data to link all involved parties and tracing missing witnesses. Concerning reports detailing the number of children being trafficked, Mr. Speaker, the police, through anti-human trafficking and child protection units, commenced investigations immediately upon receiving the report. Several witnesses have since recorded their statements to assist the investigation to identify and rescue minors involved in the sexual exploitation scheme. Preliminary findings indicate that some of the girls interviewed by BBC falsified their age to qualify for the promised sponsorship, as the BBC team was interested in underage girls engaged in sex work. The matter remains under active investigations, and upon its conclusion, appropriate legal action will be taken against individuals found culpable of any offenses. Mr. Speaker, on measures put in place to rescue and rehabilitate affected children back to society. Mr. Speaker, there is no denying that cases of child sexual exploitation exist across the country, particularly along Northern Corridor, which serves as an international transport hub. While it's possible that the BBC crew aimed to shed light on these issues, it's now apparent that the documentary failed to meet the intended purpose due to falsified information from several interviewees. Although prostitution is illegal in Kenya, it remains widespread, with sex workers openly soliciting. Additionally, access to hotels and lodging facilities is largely unregulated, with inadequate measures in place to prevent minors from gaining entry. We have issued clear and firm directives to our security teams on the ground, including officers from the National Administration, to take decisive action against the child sexual exploitation and human trafficking across the country. Mr. Speaker, upon identification of victims, the government, in collaboration with other stakeholders, will implement the following measures to support and reintegrate children affected by abuse and human trafficking. One, the Child Protection Unit will actively pursue a rescue of victims and facilitate the placement in safe environment, including private rescue centers, children's homes, and postal institutions where applicable. Two, the Children Protection Unit will provide psychosocial support services to address the emotional and mental well-being of the victims. Three, victims will be subjected to thorough medical examination and offered appropriate treatment to ensure their physical health and recovery. And finally, continuous follow-up and monitoring will be undertaken to ensure the safety and successful rehabilitation of the rescued children into the society. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to note, Mr. Speaker, before I ask my follow-up question, that the KEWOPA chair also raised this as a statement in the morning. And Mr. Speaker, what I would like to clarify from the CS is that this issue is not new. In my Mahiu, it is also in some areas in Kikope, it's also in some areas in Sachangwan, where we have long tracks.
It is along the entire Northern Corridor.
Yes, so it...
all the way to Congo.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So the CS maybe can tell us, first of all, are you confirming that there were no underage children that were actually for real in this trade? And secondly, there were some women, specifically 2, who had been implicated in that expose. Have they been arrested? It is very important. And finally, the issue of BBC payouts, Mr. Speaker, brings another issue of media ethics. If we have a reporter operating in this country and is using money to lure or get falsified information, what does that mean in terms of our law? So I would be interested to know, has any action been taken against these specific reporters if they for real falsified this information for their attraction or to make news or to make sensational news, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
In fact, Minister, if you listen to that BBC so-called expose like I did, the purpose was not to bring any facts to the fore. The purpose was to besmirch the country. If you listen to it carefully, it was not meant to expose anything. It was meant to besmirch the country and more so an African person. Go on and respond to Wangari. Sorry, Shakil, you want to joyride on that?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker. Next to you. Next to me. Mr. Speaker, you rightly say that this, the expose has hidden, some hidden agenda. As APNAC, we had a conversation with the British High Commission, somebody from the British High Commission this afternoon. And one of the issues that raised to me was this issue as what are we doing about this particular purpose? And I was a little taken aback, and I said, look, we have our security services. But the most important, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, I'm actually one of the male members of KEWEPA. But even in APNAC, we have this fallback by some Western powers who are now looking at us as if we are primitive. Well, I reminded that gentleman that there's a lot of sexual crime in the United Kingdom which we do not talk about. So I endorse what you have said, Mr. Speaker, and but we must really try and find those two people if they are really guilty and liable. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Speaker, let me say that we are confirming from this report that, Mr. Speaker, the entire report was fake because the people who were interviewed were not underage. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I went the whole length to read their names, their pseudonyms, Mr. Speaker, and who they are, what they do, and why, what was the motivating factor when they were posing as children. Mr. Speaker, that is not, and this statement also is very clear. That is not to say there may be no cases of sexual exploitation of young people in the country. And Mr. Speaker, the security agencies, including the anti-trafficking unit, have done tremendous work since the days of Gilbert Dare, Mr. Speaker, among others, to make sure that these incidents are managed. But we still have cases of human trafficking, including those that come from neighboring countries passing through Kenya, or Mr. Speaker, young people that are being lured. They may be no underage, but being lured also for jobs abroad, and they suffer. And I answered questions in this chamber before relating especially young people from the northern part of the country. So that is not to say we are not grappling with issues of human trafficking, but as far as the BBC documentary is concerned, it was a hoax. It was Mr. Speaker, planned, executed in a manner to portray that there were underage girls that were, going through sexual exploitation, while in reality, the people who were playing the game knew that they were not. Now, on the part of BBC, insofar as media ethics is concerned, it remains at large there to know whether, the first question is, why would someone promise financial reward in case information is going to be shared? Was the financial reward intended to get a good story that can be aired by BBC and therefore improve the well-being of the reporter? Or was it also the financial reward was actually part of the tricks that were being used by BBC to see if they can find actual young children, Mr. Speaker? And that remains also to be unraveled through the investigations. And Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the conclusions that were being made brings to question an international media house like BBC in terms of verifying their sources, Mr. Speaker, before airing such a very explosive story. Be it as it may, we continue to take seriously cases of gender-based violence, sexual exploitation, trafficking, and child trafficking and human trafficking generally. We take them seriously, Mr. Speaker, whether or not it was contained in the BBC documentary, because it's a human rights issue and it is organized transnational crime that we must deal with together. And we all know that there are actual challenges where children are trafficked. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't stop the fact that the Mahiu incident, the BBC report was a hoax, does not mean that we sleep and don't do the job that we are expected to do. Mr. Speaker, what will be done? What about the people who are implicated in the documentary? Mr. Speaker, since then these were not children, Mr. Speaker, it becomes difficult to charge them or to take legal action against them, Mr. Speaker. However, investigation must go even further
They
to
have
establish...
committed offenses, conspiracy to cause public despondency.
I'm just saying the people who are implicated by those in the documentary, by saying X and Y is involved in child trafficking. Mr. Speaker...
Point of order, Chair. Yes. Speaker.
Sorry.
Yeah. My point of order, Speaker, will be on the penal code. Is very clear that profiteering at all is a crime, specifically from soliciting for...
Procuring,
yes,
soliciting,
and profiteering. Yes.
Are criminal offenses.
Yes. So there are still enough grounds for the Cabinet Secretary or for the agencies to look for those specific women who have been actually interviewed. And if they gave false information, Mr. Speaker, they also should take action because they are also adding to what the BBC is doing.
I think we are very clear on that one, and we agree with the Honourable Member. I meant, and I thought I understood the question of Honourable Wangari to mean, what have we done to arrest those who were implicated in the documentary itself? You know, the documentary is mentioning names of certain people who are engaged in trafficking young girls for sexual exploitation. Mr. Speaker, and that's why I said, because the documentary itself is a hoax, then it's very difficult to charge the persons who have been implicated. However, there may be possibility that if you do the investigations about child abuse and trafficking and sexual exploitation, it may also be that it is true that those people have been mentioned. So the investigation will help us to understand whether those people, whether or not the documentary was a hoax, are also involved in child trafficking for sexual exploitation. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit.
Honorable Oroni, I've noticed you on phone for the last 40 minutes. And your colleagues, the member for Nairobi, has been shifting seats 3 times to avoid your nuisance. You are out of order. You are at liberty to use the speaker's holding room behind here to go and make calls, or go to the lobby out there. As to the case of Honorable Wamchomba, in law we call it condemned in the face of the court. Condemned in the face of the court, not just condemned of court, condemned in the face of the court. And members, you all are witnesses to this. Under Standing Order 107A, as read with 1A and 3, and having been prompted by the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Mchomba shall serve a suspension from the House of 20 days, excluding the recess days. And in those days, she will not be allowed to enter the precincts of Parliament or enjoy the facilities of Parliament, including the restaurants, the gym, and the office. And honorable members, you are distinguished elected people, representing people who send you here. There's no point filing questions for purposes of playing to the gallery and then defiantly walking away. You will not sit in the House, and you are sitting in the House. Those tantrums don't make this House look any better. And many times you have your children sitting in the gallery. You have your voters sitting in the gallery. We are relaying these proceedings live. If you can't respect your speaker in this House, who else will you respect? The next question, CS Honorable Tienda Molo, I'm aware is leading our football team to play with Governors in Homa Bay. during the conference, so we'll stay the question until next time. He has not appointed anybody to ask for him. Next question, Esther Passaris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.